The average lifespan of an octopus is 1,460 days. Marcellus had been living at the Sal Bay Aquarium since he was a young octopus, and he had already been there 1,299 days, so by his calculations, he had about 160 days left. Yes, Marcellus is an octopus, although most people passing by his tank at the aquarium just call him that guy. He can actually read the placard next to his tank. You know, those placards that say how big they get to be and what their diet would be if they lived out in the ocean. Just those things that the placards say. And his plaque actually says, "Octopuses are remarkably bright creatures." And that is the title of the book that my book club read this week, Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby VanPelt. So after reading this book, I realized that the word bright when referring to an octopus is really a major understatement. It was crazy what this octopus could do. I had no idea. And when I finished the book, or actually in the middle of it, I was curious and I just did a little research to find out if an octopus can actually function the way that Marcellus did. And it is true. Octopuses are really able to do these things. They're able to navigate mazes, they can solve complex problems, they can take things apart, escape from their enclosures. They're able to remember people and interact with them on an almost human level. All of this was certainly true of Marcellus, who was an escape artist. He could get out of his aquarium at night and he would go around and look for food to eat or just little treasures that people had dropped during the days, you know, keys or coins or action figures or jewelry. He knew how long he could stay out before he began to experience the consequences, as he said. So he was careful to time what he was doing and be sure that he was back in his tank on time to be safe. And he is definitely capable of forming bonds with people. He forms a relationship with a recently widowed woman, Tova Sullivan, who has taken a job there at night, cleaning, mopping, straightening, things like that, just to be able to stay busy. Tova is not just grieving the loss of her husband, but also the loss of their only child, their son, who died about 30 years prior to that, right after his high school graduation. And Marcellus actually knows something about the tragedy that happened that day that took Eric's life, their son. And he spends his remaining days trying to communicate with her about what he knows and the things that he perceives. And that is not an easy task for an octopus, even one that is so remarkably bright as Marcellus. This is a sweet book about family, about friends that are like family, and about the things that make life worth living. If you watched my video last Sunday, I said that the book was about a horse, but it was about so much more than a horse. And I'll say something like that today. This book was about an octopus, but it really was about so much more than an octopus. That being said, I will never again go to the aquarium and walk by the octopus enclosure without stopping and saying hello to the octopus. Thank you for watching this week. I hope you have a great day.